Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk to you quickly about red shirting, or the decision to hold your child back from kindergarten for a year. So here in New Brunswick, Canada, we're registering children for kindergarten, and schools are hosting Welcome to Kindergarten meetings. On many forums I am on Facebook, looking at Twitter, conversations within my own friend group and colleague group, is about this decision on whether to send the children or not. So the decision becomes that if your child turns 5 after August 30th, so September 1st onward, you are given a decision to delay entry into kindergarten here in New Brunswick, and I believe that's fairly consistent across Canada. So the research on delaying entry into kindergarten is fairly mixed, despite what you might see on Scary Mummy or any of the other boards. My boy just turned 4 months yesterday, and he has definitely found his voice. So the research is mixed, and so there's studies out there that suggest that if you delay entry, your child's going to have much better outcomes, and there's studies that suggest that if you do that, we're seeing no difference or actually negative outcomes. And often when we see mixed results like this in the research literature, it's because the studies are actually looking at very different things. So the study was designed in a different way, the indicators they were looking at were different, and you really have to dig into the study to understand that. Often the media articles that report on studies don't give that broader context. Carl's going to join us for this one. So the media articles don't necessarily give you that broader context. So when I've actually dug into the original research articles to understand what's been looked at and their conclusions, is that most of the time it comes down to the children's age, and that's where we're seeing the difference. And that's the rationale behind the decision after August 30th, is because children who turn 5 after August 30th are significantly younger than children who turn 5 at other points in the year. And that is very much the challenge with the education system, with grades. We have a real range of children within any grade, yet we're expecting the same outcomes. So without getting into that whole conversation, I think that's what we need to think about when we're looking and thinking about delaying entry into kindergarten, is how old is our child? Look at their development and how they are functioning. So one tip I would give you is to really think about how your child is going to spend this year not in kindergarten. So, if you want to keep your child home with you, you're going to be out exploring the environment, you're going to have lots of experiences, you're going to be reading, you're going to be talking, going maybe to drop-in play groups, maybe even preschool twice a week, or full-time daycare. You okay? Then, your child is going to have additional time to develop various learning concepts and skills. And so in that way, what these studies also reveal is this doesn't do your child any harm to wait, that they are experiencing a very high quality environment at that time and are just, in many ways, even better prepared to benefit from kindergarten the next year. So, I think you really have to think about your own child. We've talked about child and context again, so it's a very personal decision. It's your child. It's thinking about the context in which they're going to spend that next year and whether you think that context is good for your child and your family. So, the other side of things is there are skills that children exhibit prior to kindergarten entry that enable them to benefit more fully from kindergarten. Things like the various language and literacy skills that I've been sharing with you, uppercase letter knowledge, that they know some letter sounds, that their vocabulary is growing, that their oral language is growing and evolving over time well. A lot of teachers talk to the social skills aspect of things, that children can take their shoes off, they can sit for a few minutes. Dr. Gander and I talked about, it really being a minute per year of their age. So if you have a 3-year-old, they can spend 3 minutes doing an activity. So when we're getting into kindergarten, our 4 and 5-year-olds, are they hitting those benchmarks of 4 and 5 minutes? So I would encourage you to really think about those aspects. Look at your child. Don't let others sway you. I think there's a lot of passionate people on both sides of the fence here, and it really doesn't need to be that way. The research is clear is that it is about age, it is about the child's development, and I think if we look at those two aspects, we can have a much better discussion and understanding of one another, and ultimately, it's your decision for your child and your family. So all the best. If you have any questions on this, like I said, I want to keep these videos short, but I do have other things I could say, and I also have these research studies that I've reviewed if anyone's interested. So of course, like always, just reach out to me and we can have that discussion, and I can send you whatever you're looking for. So